Hello and welcome our beloved viewers to RT's News English edition. Tonight, as usual, we'll begin with the major in top highlights. Let's follow. Message of congratulations from the President of the Republic to his German counterpart. And on the international scene, presidential elections in Brazil, Lula and Bolsonaro qualified for the second round. Those were our major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, in the current context of commemoration of the German National Day, wished more progress, prosperity, and fulfillment to the friendly German people. Those wishes of the head of state came in a congratulatory telegram sent to the German President, Mr. Frank-Walter Steinmeier. The government and the people of Djibouti also join me in expressing their sympathy to the friendly German nation, wrote President Ismail Omar Guelleh in this message, which welcomed the continuous strengthening of relations of exchange and cooperation between the two countries and people. Be sure, Mr. President, that you will always find with the government and people of Djibouti all the support necessary to strengthen that already privileged ties between our two nations, said the head of state, reiterating his warm congratulations to his counterpart, Frank-Walter, and to all the friendly people of Germany. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed, made today the supervision of the works of the International Airport of Humbuli in the presence of the Minister of Transport and Equipment, the Minister of Defense in charge of Parliamentary Relations, the Director General, and his deputy. Indeed, this project consists of several phases of development, including the rehabilitation of the terminal with the development of the exterior and the extension of the east side. In order to keep the airport operational, the construction group are doing their work in such a way as not to stop the flow of activities and the operation of the place by strengthening the work of the departure part, which will be integrated in the coming days. The Prime Minister went to the site to see the end of the upcoming work of the first floor dedicated to the check-in hall and a mosque part for passengers, and upstairs a transit area, duty-free, a cafeteria, and two boarding rooms. Work on the arrival part will begin with the inauguration of the first phase of the project. Always in the concern of not degrading from the activities and the functioning of the International Airport of Djibouti, the construction group will proceed to the development of the VIP part as well as the external part with the inauguration of the hall devoted to the departure of the travelers, which will be as for them operational in the final phase of the rehabilitation. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, His Excellency Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, received today a strong Sudanese ministerial delegation led by the Minister of Transport, Mr. Hisham Ali Abu Ziyad, accompanied by Abdullah Yahya Ahmed, Minister of Urban Planning, Roads and Bridges, Mr. Ahlam Madani Mahdi, Minister of Investment, as well as Rahma Saleh Al Ubaib, Ambassador of the Republic of Sudan to Djibouti, and senior Sudanese officials. On the Djiboutian side, the Ambassador of Djibouti to Sudan, Mr. Isa Khaire, Ambassador Musa Muhammad, Director of Communication, as well as Mr. Muhammad Douala and Hodan Musa, respectively, Director and Deputy Director of the Arab Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, took part in this meeting. The minister took the opportunity to commend the determination of the Sudanese people to reach a peaceful solution, ensure the stability of the country, and meet the modern challenge despite the many difficulties. The two parties welcomed the excellent relations between our two brotherly countries. Their discussions focused on issues of common interest, including the promotion of trade to introduce a new dynamic to our respective economies. Both parties stressed the importance of benefiting from mutual opportunities offered by our two countries, such as the port infrastructure as well as the free zones of Djibouti, and the immense agricultural potentialities of Sudan in the context of food security. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Said Nuh Hassan and his colleague of labor responsible for formalization and social protection, Mr. Umar Abdi Said, and the Minister Delegate in charge of decentralization, Mr. Qasim Harun Ali, have presided today at the People's Palace the ceremony of awarding a certificate of specialization in management of the civil society. This 8 month training program aimed to strengthen the capacity of officers and agents of the civil registry in order to modernize identity documents as part of the digital transformation process undertaken by our country. Implemented by the General Directorate of Population and Family in collaboration with the National Institute of Administration, which is also known in short as INAP. This action is part of the training of state agents to improve the performance of public institutions, a course that was set up by the National Institute of Public Administration and which was intended for the civil services. The ceremony was attended by the Minister of Interior and Labor, the Minister Delegate in charge of decentralization, Qasim Harun Ali, the Director General of Population, the Director General of INAP, the Deputy Representative of UNICEF, the prefects and the presidents of the 5 regions of the interior, and the beneficiaries of this program. His Excellency, the Minister of Decentralization, Mr. Qasim Harun Ali, delivered a speech at the outset on the importance of the civil statute, that it is a means that enables us, the country, to register national documents. He concluded. For his part, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Said Nuh Hassan, expressed in his speech his happiness to participate in this occasion dedicated to the conclusion of a qualification course on civil statute. For his part, the Minister of Labor, Mr. Umar Abdi Said, praised the efforts of the youth, who realized the size of the responsibility entrusted to them and highly valued everyone who played a role in the success of this course. The Office of the Ministry of Finance and Economy, in close collaboration with the French Development Agency in the European Union, hosted a signing ceremony for a €40 million agreement to improve access to water and sanitation in Djibouti. These new funds, partly delegated by the European Union to AFD, strengthen Teams Europe's commitment in this sector. 2 of the new projects signed aim to improve wastewater treatment in several localities in Greater Djibouti, Balbala and Djibouti City. The first, Berat, the third, complements the financing already allocated by the European Union in the AFD and will make it possible to increase the sewage network in 5 districts of Djibouti City. This project is part of the Team Europe Initiative 1 Clean and Prosperous Djibouti by 2027, financed with additional €15 million delegated to AFD by the European Union, bringing the total amount of the PERAD project to almost €47 million. This project will enable thousands of people to benefit from access to collective sanitation services. Indeed, the management of water resources is a challenge throughout Djibouti, which is located in a desert area. Moreover, Djibouti has historically provided its drinking water supply from underground resources, which are now overexploited and threatened by saline institution. The state has therefore launched projects to mobilize alternative water resources, which have significantly increased the volume of drinking water distributed, leading to an increase in the volume of wastewater to be collected and treated. These new projects aim to support the National Office of Water and Sanitation of Djibouti, which is also known as ONIAD, to meet this challenge. For his part, the Minister of Finance and Economy, Mr. Ilyas Musa Dawali, noted in his speech on this occasion that the country has faced in recent years many obstacles, whether in terms of drought or floods, as the conditions for cleaning running water have become very difficult. A ceremony to officially launch the verification exercise of refugees and asylum seekers took place today at the headquarters of ONARS in PK13. This call for ceremony was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior, Mr. Siraj Umar Abdul Qadir, and was attended by the Executive Secretary of UNRWA, Hussein Hassan, the representative of UNHCR, and the World Food Programme. This verification exercise aims at renewing the documents of the refugees in order to offer them a better protection, inclusion, and means of substance. This verification, which has started, will also allow to determine the number of people under the jurisdiction of honors and UNHCR residing on the national territory, and will update the records such as fingerprints, address, material statute, education, health, and profession. It will also allow the refugees to be considered for reactivation, group separation, and unification of members. This verification exercise of refugees and asylum seekers will continue not only in the capital, but also in the interior regions, notably the refugee camps of Markazi, Ali Adde, and Holhol. At the end of the launching ceremony, the officials visited the booths where the verification operation took place. A meeting of the steering committee was held at the conference room of the ministry with the aim of taking stock on the training in epidemiology of the front line. Organized under the leadership of the director of INSPD, Dr. Hussein Yusuf Darar, the meeting of the steering committee has allowed to identify and highlight the work done by the Brigade of Epidemiologists in Prevention and Epidemiological Surveillance. Of all the actions that have carried out in the field of our epidemiologists in the exercise of their mission, and this since the end of their initial training until now. The members of the steering committee were able to appreciate the arduous tasks performed by these women and men who have provided quality work during their epidemiological field investigations. This has led to tangible progress, particularly in terms of improving epidemiological surveillance indicators, an essential work that constitutes a reliable source for health data, thus contributing to the efficiency of the health information system of the Ministry of Health. On Thursday, September 22, Colonel Wais Omar Boghore, Commander of the Coast Guard, welcomed in the Lounge of Honor of the Director General of the Administration of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, General of Air Brigade, Lieutenant Bote, Commander of the French Armed Forces stationed in Djibouti. The General was welcomed with the honors due to his rank by the Coast Guard, honorary troops, and officers of the institution. The delegation led by the General was then led to an honor lounge where Colonel Wais Omar Boghore took the opportunity to present the missions and operational capabilities of the Djiboutian Coast Guard as well as the infrastructure and facilities of the institution. At the end of the presentation, a rich discussion was established between the two parties who raised points of common interest in the field of security and maritime safety of the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandab Strait, as well as ways and means to strengthen cooperation and collaboration between the two institutions in the framework of the long-standing friendly relations between the Republic of Djibouti and France. The visit continued with the presentation of the large patrol boats that the Djiboutian Coast Guard uses in the framework of its patrol missions of surveillance of the Djiboutian maritime domain. Colonel Wais Omar Boghore was thus able to present to the General an overview of the means engaged to ensure the maritime security of our country. The visit ended with a traditional exchange of gifts and a family photo immortalizing this day. The Director General of CRIPEN received a donation to 11 containers of textbooks for Arabic-speaking schools. The ceremony took place in the presence of diplomats from the Embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, collaborators of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, as well as heads of Arabic language schools. In a speech delivered on this occasion, the Director General warmly thanked the Saudi diplomats. The opportunity for him to emphasize the excellent relations of friendship and brotherhood and cooperation between our country and Saudi Arabia, a historic and very fruitful cooperation in all areas, including education, and which has contributed to the development of our dear country, he added. He called on those responsible for the institutions benefiting from this work to take care of them and use them effectively. The Saudi delegation said it was proud of this donation, which strengthens the ties of collaboration between the two countries. The textbooks were handed over to the headmasters of the Arabic-speaking schools. In the day of Sunday, October 2, the meeting room of the Regional Council of Obo hosted a regular session of the Regional Assembly. This is about a meeting that the Regional Council wished to expand, saw the participation of the Prefect of the region, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Bonoita, the head of the village, Abdullah Hassan, the delegated mediator, the officials of the Defense and Security Forces represented by Colonel Rayo, that the Office of the Police, the officials of decentralized services, notables, and members of the civil society. The session began with a video presentation of the activities concerning the projects carried out by the Regional Council under the EDIL program for the years 2020 and 2021. It was also projected that the metrics of projects of the RDP between 2021 until 2025. Finally, the prefect of the region, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Bonita, welcomed this unprecedented initiative to expand the session of the Regional Council to representatives of the Oboch community. The prefecture will always be at the side of the territorial community of Oboch, as it has always been, to support it and participate in its side in its development of the region. Mr. Abdul Malik invites the participants to be actors in the development of Hayu. Moving on towards the international scene now, the incumbent President Jair Bolsonaro and former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva will participate in the second round of the presidential elections on October 30, Brazil's Superior Electoral Tribunal announced Sunday. After counting about 99.6% of the voting machines, Lula received 48.3% of the votes, compared with 43.3% of Bolsonaro, the TSE said. According to Brazilian electoral law, a candidate must obtain more than half of the votes to be elected in the first round. Well, by this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. Take care.